So good morning everyone. Today I'm going to explain a very interesting technology which is called 3D printing. So many of us have seen normal printers that print plain text and images on paper. But imagine a printer that can create a toy, uh, a mobile cover, a machine part, or even a human implant. So this is exactly what 3D printing is. Okay. So in this presentation, we'll learn what 3D printing is, how it is started, and why it is important, and where it is used today, and how it may change in future also. So let's begin. So before starting, let us see what we are going to learn. First, we will understand what 3D printing means, and then we'll look at its history and how it developed over the time. So after that, we'll discuss what this technology, why this technology is so important, and next we'll see some real-world applications, and finally we'll learn about future what we say developments and also the existing possibilities. So let's start with the basic concept. So let me ask you a question. So how is a building is constructed? If the answer is answered by you, it is nothing but it is built layer by layer. First we will be choosing the basement, and then we'll be opposing the pillars, and then later on that we'll be flooring the slab, and then walls, etc., etc., which means at a time we are not installing everything. It completely done layer by layer, right? Similarly, 3D printing creates an object layer by layer. That is what you need to understand. It is completely layer by layer. After completing one layer, we'll go to another layer. It is not like at a time we'll go with all those things. Okay. So 3D printing is also called as additive manufacturing. So please see the thing, additive manufacturing, the keyword. This is most important. So what is this additive manufacturing? So additive, the word additive means adding material. So a computer first, how the process goes through is nothing but a computer first creates a digital model of the object, and then the printer follows the design and deposits the material layer by layer until the object is complete. So it completely working on the principle of layer by layer. So all the traditional manufacturing removes what happens in traditional manufacturing is nothing but they will be taking huge material, and I want only this symbol, or I want only this toy to be printed, which means the rest will be cut off and the wastage will be more. But here it won't happen. We'll be taking the accurate thing and we'll be filling the composite material into it by printing, by just creating the 3D model in the CAD. So that's why the 3D printing is required. This reduces the waste and allows complex designs to create easy. So in simple words, I can say 3D printing converts a computer design into a real life physical object. Okay. So if you see here, now let us travel back in time. So the story of 3D printing began in early 1980s. So in 1981, a Japanese researcher named Hideo Kodama introduced the idea of creating objects layer by layer. In few years later, in 1986, Chuck Hall developed the first commercial 3D printing technology called stereolithography, also known as SLA. Okay, so he also founded a company called 3D Systems. So because of his contribution, Chuck Hall is often called the father of 3D printing. So this was the beginning of revolutionary technology. If you see here, initially what this is, for example, this I wanted to print. Initially we'll be creating the CAD model, and we'll be saving in STL file. You will be knowing if you operate the CAD model, and then what we are doing, we'll be slicing it over the software, and then we'll be slicing it in layers, and we'll be importing it to 3D printer, and then 3D printer will be assigning that work, and that work will be finished by giving the materials. So this is how the 3D printing will happen. Okay. Later on in 1990s, industry started recognizing the usefulness of 3D printing. So initially it was like we can't do, we can't afford. Later on that the scientists and the researchers been followed, and then in 1990s industries also started recognizing these 3D printers. So at the time it was mainly used for making prototypes. So a prototype is an prototype is nothing but as an early model of a product. For example, before manufacturing thousands of mobiles, let's say mobile phones, so companies first create some sample model to test and design. So in every company in Tata Motors or some other L&T, every company, what they do is nothing but they initially use these prototypes such that they will test everything on that, and then if it is succeeding, then it will be released into the model into the market. So technologies such as FDM and SLS that I will be going to take some classes in the further videos were also developed during this period in 1990s. So these technologies made 3D printing more practical and useful. So we're coming into 2000s. 3D printing entered many industries, and even aerospace companies started using it for aircrafts, and automobile companies are started using it for vehicle components. Even in medical industries also. Now, if you see, if one teeth is been removed, then it will be marked in the 3D CAD model, and then the teeth is replaced. So which is completely, we call it as the use of 3D printers. Okay. So the quality of materials was improved, printers became more powerful and accurate also. So as a result, applications expanded very rapidly. In 2010, 3D printing became more affordable. Even in small desktop printers entered the market. Students and researchers and even small businesses started using them. People could now create products directly from their homes or workshops. So this period is often called as consumer revolution in 3D printing. What is that? Consumer revolution. Consumer revolution in 3D printing. So you should okay. So this period in 2010 we call it as consumer revolution in 3D. So today 3D printing is almost everywhere. So it is used in aerospace to create lightweight aircrafts. It is used in automotive industries for prototypes and also as well as spare parts. Hospital use it for implants. You please remember it, implants, and medical devices also. So construction companies use it for building houses. Educational institute use it for projects and learning. So defense organization use it for specialized equipment because of its flexibility. So 3D printing became an important manufacturing today. So now let us understand why 3D printing is so important. There are 6 major advantages. One is rapid prototyping, design freedom, cost reduction, customization, faster production, as well as sustainability. I will discuss each one separately. So the first advantage is nothing but rapid prototyping. Suppose a company designs a new product. Instead of waiting weeks for to manufacture, they can print a sample within hours by using 3D printers. So engineers can test the design very quickly. If there are any mistakes, let us say, they can modify the design immediately. This saves both time as well as the money. So therefore, product development becomes much faster. Next, the second advantage is design freedom. So traditional manufacturing has some limitation. So some shapes are very difficult and impossible to create. But what happened by using 3D printing, it can produce highly complex designs. So engineers can create structures with internal channels, unique and lightweight designs also. So this gives designers much greater creativity. They can develop any type of 3D print, any type of design, and such that they can test. Next one is nothing but cost reduction. So traditional manufacturing often requires expensive molds and tools. Creating those tools can cost lot of money. So 3D printing does not require such tools for small production runs. It also uses only the required material. It won't use much, that as I discussed earlier. So as a result, the waste is reduced and the overall cost becomes very slow, very low. Okay. So another advantage is customization. So customization means creating products according to the individual needs. If I need some prototype, I can just throw a design such that it can be easily created. For example, every patient's body is different. Okay, so my teeth may be large, some other teeth may be very small. So doctors can use this 3D printing to create customized implants or let's say prosthetic limbs also. So similarly, companies can create personalized products for consumers. So this level of customization is difficult with traditional manufacturing. That is why this is the most important advantage of 3D printing. As I discussed, once the design is ready, it can be sent directly to the printer. That's why the printer starts creating the object immediately, and there is only few manufacturing steps. This helps the companies, okay, produce products quickly and efficiently. Next one is nothing but the sustainability. So 3D printing uses only the required material. There will be no waste. Okay. So less waste means better use of resources and lower environmental impacts. Therefore, 3D printing supports more sustainable manufacturing practices. So as I already discussed, these are the benefits of 3D printing. So this is the summary of the importance of the 3D print. So moving on to the current applications. So let us see where 3D printing is used today. So some important areas which include healthcare, okay, aerospace, automotive and education, as well as construction. The main motive of 3D manufacturing which is introduced for you people is nothing but you should be in multi space. It is not like only I should choose software, only I go for this field. It should be multi engaging personalities. We should be there in the present market. That's why in the last semester also they have been introduced quantum for you people, and now in this semester they have been introduced this 3D printing. Okay, so which especially this medical field will be very useful for you people. So in healthcare, 3D printing has made remarkable progress. Okay, doctors use it to create prosthetic limbs for patients. Even dentists use it for crowns and dental models. Surgeons use customized surgical guides. And even medical implants can also be produced using this 3D printing. So this improves the treatment quality and also patient comfort. That's why in the medical field, the 3D manufacturing is creating a remarkable success. Okay, and even in remarkable progress. Especially now we are moving on to the technical part, because aerospace industry is completely working on the technical part. So where in aerospace industries where weight is extremely important. So weighting factor comes very important in aerospace industry. So lighter aircraft consumes less fuel. So 3D printing help us to create lightweight yet strong components. Lightweight in the sense, but just we can't throw something on it. It is nothing but it will create the lightweight, as well as it will maintain that strong components. So aircraft parts and engine components can be manufactured efficiently. Okay, so which means this improves the performance and reduces operating cost. So moving on to automotive industry. So 3D printing is used for, as I discussed, 3D printing is used for prototypes as well as spare parts. So engineers can test vehicles designed before mass production. Companies can also manufacture replacement parts quickly when it is needed. So this improves the time as well as the maintenance efficiency. So moving on to the main advantage in education is nothing but people. For example, if some idea is coming for the in student mind, let's say, so student can create engineering models and prototypes even in the B.Tech level itself. So research project become more easier to demonstrate. So instead of only seeing diagrams, students can hold own physical models in their hands by using 3D printing. So that is why 3D printing is much more evolving in future coming days, for especially for researchers and as well as even for B.Tech students. It is not like you should limit only to the diagram model, like, right? So you can also create, if you are having better knowledge, if you are having practical knowledge, then you can do your best. Now moving on to construction, in 3D printing is being used to build houses, okay, and the structural components. So whereas large scale printers can print walls and build sections also. So this reduces construction time and labor requirements also. In the future, entire buildings may be printed quickly and economically. Already in India, they have been started some experimentation on 3D printing. By using 3D printing, they have been started constructing the buildings. Already I think some project is there, I will be naming in the future classes, that already been started by using 3D printers. So this is the future of 3D printings, expected to be transformative. So researchers are working on bioprinting, space manufacturing, large scale construction, and as well as mass customization, 4D printing, distributed manufacturing. So these technologies may completely transform the way products are designed and produced. So bioprinting involves printing live tissues. That is the main thing you need to remember. Using biological materials, scientists are already experimenting with printing skin, tissues, as well as organ structures. Okay. In the future, this technology may help to solve organ shortage. As of now, you are saying if some dialysis comes, there will be no kidney donors. There will be, if some heart disease comes, there will be no heart donors. So this type of things may be cleared in future. The already researchers has been focused on this type of things. Another one is nothing but the space manufacturing. Imagine manufacturing tools directly in space. So instead of transporting every item from Earth, astronauts could print required tools on demand in the space itself. This would reduce some costs and support long duration space missions also. So future construction projects may use 3D printers. Entire houses and infrastructures components could be printed rapidly. This would reduce construction time, labor charge, as well as material wastage. So mass customization combines large scale production with personalization. Okay. So customers may order products designed specifically for their requirements. Okay. So 3D printers makes this possible because designs can be changed easily without any expensive. So if I say I want some let us say some cat picture on the wall, by 3D printing it will be very easily. But whereas in traditional we can't do it, right? So as of now I am talking about 3D printing. So 4D is nothing but the advancement of 3D printing. So the fourth dimension refers to time. So these printed objects can change shape or behavior when exposed to heat, like heat, water, light, or other environmental conditions. This technology may create smart and adaptive products based on the season at those particular locations. So in distributed manufacturing, products are printed close to where they are needed. Instead of shipping products across the world, like if I order something, it will be coming from somewhere Delhi or Mumbai. So but by using this 3D printing, it can be printed in our location itself. So digital designs can be sent electronically and printed even that locally. So this reduces transportation costs and delivery time too. Okay. So this is the future technology